What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Say Hey Plays. My name is Jose Bouquett, and my next guest for the show, a legend around these parts, a pub sports radio original, as I'll say it. Someone that guy helped break in the brand and make it to what it is today. Donnie Rightside, Donnie Seymour. Donnie, how are you doing over there?
I'm doing good, and I love to be an alumnus there at Pub Sports and, reaching out. And I always say this, enjoy your time at certain places. And Pub Sports Radio, I've always done that with Jeff and the crew and yourself. I've been on your show before, and you reached out and said, hey, you know what? Would you like to come on the show here and talk some Major League Baseball? Absolutely, Jose. And here I am today.
Yes, I'm excited. I hope we can get you on the show throughout the whole season. It's going to be a great year. We were talking Phillies before. It's going to be fun. They get smacked around a little bit today, but it's going to be a good year for the Phillies, I think. And if not, it'll be at least fun to watch it happen because there's always good stuff happening around the Philadelphia Phillies. So I'm going to give a quick recap of the action I've got in so far, all the stuff that's happened today, and we'll jump right into it. Donnie, if you had any bets before the show leading into it, I'll give you a chance to shout those out. But so far for me today, I took a Red Sox team total over 2.5 for the first 5 innings. That cashed easily, and the money line. That was a little sweaty at the end, but we got through that. Mets first 5 money line. The Houston Astros and Diamondbacks no run in the first inning. That cashed, thankfully. Didn't even get to watch that. I was on my way over here. Shout out to Blackouts, too. Appreciate that. Shout out to Texas. I've got the Toronto Blue Jays team total over 3.5. I don't believe in Garrett Cole, and I believe that in this Toronto Blue Jays offense. We'll talk about that here further. And I've got Robbie Ray under 6.5 strikeouts. A juicy -130, but we will talk about that when we get there. We've got 4 games on the card here today, Donnie. Any bets for you before the day, and anything we're going to talk about here soon?
Yeah, it looks like I'm careening towards an early loss. I did take the over 7 in the Giants-Padres game, which actually had a decent start in this one, but stumbling there 2-1. They scored 15 runs last night, but I also preface this by saying, Jose, with that play was more of a fun wager, which is the same one I'm going to have a little bit later tonight. I do usually like to have statistics to back up a lot of these, but you're sort of in limbo right now, right? You start with last year's statistics, how they bleed into this year. Now some guys have 10 to 15 to 20 at-bats, pitchers making their second start. Baseball, for me, Jose, gets really fun after about a month long in the season. I've had services in the past where we don't bet until May 1st starts. So even though we had a weak start late in the season, I'm really looking forward to May 1st. But it's fun this part of the year, just watching how things progress, watching and see how some of these new pitchers are turning out, seeing how some of these hitters are. And also, it's always a mixed bag of goods where one team might score 2 runs one day and 15 the next day. That's April baseball.
Yeah, you're gonna kind of have to time it, and the dogs have been hitting this week too. I think that's kind of a part of reason why my record has gotten so inflated. Got told, or I should say, taught that record keeping super important when having one of these shows. Yeah, obviously, I appreciate everyone that's watching, of course, too. Right now, I lost my record here in a second, but there we go. I'm 28-15, up a measly 21 units so far. So yeah, Donnie, we're succeeding over here, Donnie. We're eating.
We're trying to retire. Hey, why don't you just end it after April, man? There ain't no need for May, June, July, August, and September. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to get that unit size up so we can get to the retirement money, and it's gonna be fun. I can't wait. Shout out to the Blue Jays too. The Blue Jays are part of the reason why I have an inflated record there. I took them live money line against the Rangers that one night, of course, but thankfully. That makes me feel better that if you even take that off my record, I'm still up over 13 units on the year. So I love that. Oh, look, we lost Donnie there for a second. He'll come back in a moment. But I'll get down to breaking these games here in a second. I cannot wait. Thanks, everyone, for watching, by the way. Of course, I'll give you guys your shout-outs while we get Donnie back in here. Puzzler, Chief Cheese, Nasty Nate. Red Sox win, Nasty Nate. Red Sox win. We needed that. We needed that bad. I appreciate that. Ragoon. We love that. DGen Woodworker, all you guys, Ron Crawford, Sam Colmer, appreciate it. Donnie's back. Let's get some baseball in here. I understand the refresh button. Hey, we all do it. It's okay.
No, I didn't even do it. You know what happened there on that is I see, because I went to the comment section. I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me chime in and start talking to a couple of the people out there having some fun. And I hit log in, and there I went out of the screen. So I said, you know what? let me just go in here. I'll read the chat. I see you guys with all the nice stuff out there, so I'll be playing along with you as well. But I will not do that again and try to log in, Jose.
There we go. Hey, I love it, Donnie. I love it. So it keeps me on their toes, and we're ready to go now. First game on the card, a short 4-game card. Keep it short for everyone. Give us our thoughts, get in and out. It's going to be a fun show, I think. Oakland A's, Tampa Bay Rays, and we've got Frankie Montas versus Shane McClanahan on the bump. Obviously, both of these pitchers, a little bit of a dichotomy when it comes to their starts. 4.1 innings pitched. Or 4 1/3, I should say, actually, if I want to be a baseball guy. 4 hits, no earned runs, 7 Ks, 2 walks for McClanahan against a shitty Baltimore Orioles squad. But they can hit a little bit, so you got to respect it there. Frankie Montas comes in against your Philadelphia Phillies. Donnie, 5 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earnings, 6 Ks. A tough lineup, obviously. Going to be one of the best in baseball, so you kind of have to accept the losses when they come there. I don't have anything on this game so far. Maybe Donnie can talk me into something here. Right now, you've got the Oakland A's at plus 156 for the full game, minus 190 for the Tampa Bay Rays. I don't know if we're going to keep getting these offensive numbers that we're getting for this series. It's been fun to watch for sure, an underrated series. But I've got nothing here to start off, Donnie. What about you?
Yeah, what's interesting with the Oakland Athletics, they open up against the Philadelphia Phillies, Jose, right? And over the first 2 games, man, I don't even know if this team's even going to win a single baseball game. Then they beat the Phillies in the final game of the series. Then they take down the Tampa Bay Rays in the opening game and play very well, at least offensively, in the second game, which is very interesting to me because going over their opening day lineup, Jose, I was saying to myself, where are the runs coming from for the Oakland Athletics? But that actually hasn't been the issue here. But if we're looking for a true Tampa Bay Rays series and a true game plan for them, what is it? Just win baseball games, which is what they do. Now, typically, what do we usually see? Tampa Bay Rays winning games 3-1, 4-2, 5-3 in that realm. It's rare to see them get after it specifically down in the trop. So when you take a look at the games right now, if we're looking at the odds, that 190 price, if you are betting in April, you got to be betting underdogs at this point. And the one thing I always bring up, Jose, because you don't have statistics this year. Now, granted, there's 13 at-bats for Lowe, and Franco has 15 at-bats for his right-handed batter. So once you get that 30, 40, 50 at-bats, you get a better feel for the season. But no way, shape, or form can I come into this game myself because I do think the Rays are a better team. The Rays will have a better record at the end of the season than the Oakland Athletics. But if I'm going to look at paying a minus 190 price for McClanahan on the mound, I'm not doing it here. And particularly right now, Jose, as you say, the Oakland A's don't technically know they're bad just yet. Give them about 50, 60 games, and they'll realize it. So I was actually looking earlier, and the prices were much better on the FanDuel Sportsbook, just bringing up one book here. That was plus 1.5 on the run line, was only a minus 126 price, which now sits at a minus 150 price. I'm not really a run line guy, Jose, either way, taking the dog or even laying the minus 1.5, but I did think that was interesting here. But you're right, a typical game between the Oakland Athletics and the Tampa Bay Rays in the trop probably lends itself to an under 7.5. Now, it's hard to say that with the amount of runs that they've been scoring the past couple games. Sooner or later, that evens out. If I were to play this game, I actually probably would look more towards under 7.5 here, even though it sounds kind of crazy with how many runs have been put up so far.
Yeah, and I think both of these pitchers are well equipped. Frankie Montas is the last man standing in that Oakland staff, and he gets shit on all the time because he has control issues, and now he's, I think he's a better pitcher than that, personally. I think if you get him out of Oakland, he'll have more success, and it's kind of hard to have success in Oakland, shitty facilities, all this good stuff. But I don't think that I'm going to lay the 150 I'll put them on the A's. I just don't believe in that offense enough to try to get to McClanahan. So I'll pass for now. And by the way, just to give people an update, we do have 2 games going right now. We do a little live betting on this program as well when we see fit. Right now, it's 1-0 still. The Astros versus Diamondbacks. That's pretty surprising. 2-1 right now. The Padres versus the Giants. And Alex Bregman almost went 1 yard just now, but has not enough power. Shout out to Jimmy the Brat Bag for watching. Nasty Nate. Thick Tugnuts. It's a great name. Shout out to you guys for watching, as always. We both pass on this one. We'll keep it moving here with the Milwaukee Brewers versus the Baltimore Orioles. Corbin Burns, John Means. I was really down on this Brewers squad coming into this season. Didn't think they were going to win the division. I actually took the Cardinals to win the division. And I think that the Orioles are a bet-on team early in the season, like we kind of mentioned earlier with the A's. They don't know they're bad yet. I would rather I'm absolutely not taking Corbin Burns after a crap start at minus 180-ish around there. I would much rather take the Baltimore Orioles, but the bullpen is something you just can't trust with this squad. Lean first five right now, and even if you wanted a first five plus a half, plus a half's minus 110, so I don't hate that. And the first five total is 3.5, so obviously not going to be a lot of scoring projected here. So right now I'm leaning towards the Orioles, and I think I could get talked into a first five look for the Orioles. Donnie, what do you got here?
Yeah, I hear you on that. And you're right with the Milwaukee Brewers. What's their path to victory? It's having great starting pitching, which they anticipate, and having an unbelievable back end of the bullpen with Williams and Hader. So if you can't get to those guys, or you get to those guys where it's a tie game, doesn't work out usually all that well. But I'm actually looking in this for Jose for an under here, which is crazy. You take a look at Baltimore in Baltimore as an under. But the one thing that is interesting that I've watched already, being, quite a few, not very many, I should say, home games with Baltimore, is that deep left field porch now. It used to be, Jose, you get the ball up in the air, that ball's out of here. And how bad that pitching staff has been in Baltimore over the past couple of years. It was like a launching pad where everybody in the AL East just went there to get healthy. Hey, struggling at the plate, wait till you get down to Baltimore, you start launching some shots there into the orange seats. But they changed that up, and it's already come into play. Watch the ball last night that usually is a home run there, hit the fence. And also, if I believe, dipping right out by the foul pole, it's a higher fence. And I thought I saw a 384 in those power alleys. So now all of a sudden you're saying, okay, if you're an over better at Camden Yards, maybe that free meal ticket is away, at least in left field. So if I'm looking at this game overall, Corbin Burns, I like Corbin Burns, I really do. Strikeout guy, you don't have much resistance in that Baltimore lineup overall. I think he has a nice bounce back start in this one. And John Means isn't a bad pitcher, has a decent opening to the season. But I'm just looking at, Jose, lineup for lineup tonight. And in a bigger Camden Yards ballpark, I'm going with the under tonight in this one. I love overs, but if I can see this game play out, and I look at both of these lineups that have already been, added to here, it doesn't look that great. I'll lean on it. 9 beats me tonight, and I'll bet on that they don't get to 9 total runs.
I don't hate that at all. Honestly, I don't hate that at all. Corbin Burns, Cy Young winner. And the main thing with him is you just got to watch the walks right now. Last time out, he had 3 Ks. Sorry, reverse that. 3 walks, 4 Ks. So you need to look at that number. If he keeps walking guys, and that's not going to be the same Corbin Burns from last year. And that's going to be the main thing that I'll be watching in this game. You just got to watch his control. If he's not throwing strikes, then it's not the same guy. And if you want to do the real research, go look and dig into his baseball savant. Go look at his spin rates on his cutters. See how those are too. We'll see how it goes throughout the year. I'm going to stay off this game. I might be convincing to taking that under. The more I think about it, the more I like it. But I'll stay off for right now. Next game on the docket. Donnie, I think I've told every guest that has come on the program so far that I'm an addiction. I have a problem, and I need help. And Donnie, I think your soothing voice is the right man to get me out of this issue, this predicament that I'm in. I love fading the New York Yankees. I love it. There's just something to it. You get the best odds against them too, and you got to pick your spots. I bet the Red Sox every game in the series. I come 1 for 2 there, but basically in all those games, I feel like I should have won all of those games personally. I avoided the Kikuchi trap last night, and I bet against them when Manoah was on the mound for the Blue Jays. And now I think I've got a very tough, dicey matchup here with Jose Barrios and Garrett Cole. I love fading Garrett Cole, like I said. I love fading him against the Red Sox in particular because the Red Sox own him. But I can't stand Jose Barrios. I can't stand him as a pitcher. I think he's overrated. I don't think he's very good. I would not have traded for him. I don't think he's a number 1. Honestly, you could convince me that Alek Manoah is the number 1 Game 1 starter for the Blue Jays when it comes to October. And I'd believe you. I believe you wholeheartedly. So I wanted to eliminate the Jose Barrios factor in this and not even worry about him. So I took the Blue Jays team total over 3.5, a number that you will not see on this Blue Jays offense very much, especially at a minus 110 number. 4 runs against Garrett Cole is something that the Red Sox did pretty quickly. I think that the Blue Jays offense, which is better than the Red Sox, can get it done in a small ballpark. I think I've taken the over in most of the games in this series, and I've been burned by it. But I'm going to take the measly 3.5 here and hope the Blue Jays can get to Garrett here.
Yeah, we're like sooner or later, right? The offenses are supposed to wake up. And I was under the same opinion as you. It wasn't even necessarily, Jose, from a capping perspective when you took a look at the Yankees and Blue Jays. It was like, how can I take an under? Like this lineup through one half of an inning can do damage on both sides here. So you walk that tightrope. Now you're supposed to have two aces on the mound for both of them. Garrett Cole didn't really show up opening day, getting angry at, I guess, Billy Crystal throwing that opening pitch, which cost him 4 minutes on the mound, which he blamed on that poor start. But Jose Barrios was equally as bad, if not even worse, in his game early out. So both of these guys will have something to prove, but I like the stance of it's in the back of your head if you're a pitcher. I struggled last game. Maybe I got to make sure I'm on point here in the first inning. Maybe I guide some pitches. Maybe I lean more on my fastball as opposed to saying, let me lean on some of my off-speed pitches. So when you see the 3.5, it does make sense. And sometimes betting strategy, Jose, that you use, even if you're not looking at strict numbers, is what makes the most sense here. It's almost like saying, like, you're right. Toronto Blue Jays, you're not going to get very many 3.5s. It's like betting the Dodgers. We saw them yesterday. Even though they're playing great baseball to open the season, hold on, Jose. I could get a minus 130 price on the Dodgers. That's going to be like 5% of the time for the entire season. I better get it now. And they won that baseball game. So I can't hate on the fact that you're going to take a team in a small ballpark. And we're not talking about winter weather anymore. In Philadelphia today, we hit a high of 82. Is it going to be that, muggy in the Bronx tonight? No, it's not. But you're still going to get mid to high 60s in this game with a light wind blowing out. It's one of those early in the season. There's no way I'm saying I'm sharper, I'm the best man in the room, or I'm just going to go contrarian and take an under 3.5 on the Blue Jays. I agree with you in that respect. So when you take a look at the game itself as an 8, it makes some sense. But I think what it boils down to is anybody taking Garrett Cole tonight and saying, you know what, I'm happy to lay 170, 175 in this game? Not me. Same thing in April. If you're going to give me a big price with a very good Toronto Blue Jays lineup, I'll flip that coin and I'll take the plus money.
Yeah, absolutely. And Garrett's seen these guys a bunch of times. He's obviously got the familiarity with Springer. Right now, Bo 4 of 21 with a home run, Vladdy 5 of 18 with 2 Ks. And when I say these numbers, the thing that jumped out at me when I wrote them down is how little the strikeout numbers were. They're making contact, and then that's an important thing. Teoscar Hernandez 5 of 15 home run, 4 Ks. Yulio Gurriel 2 of 19. Alejandro Kirk hits 500 off of him with a home run. So I think you get a cheap price with a Blue Jays offense that is arguably the best in baseball, and I should write down and document how many 3.5 you get for the Blue Jays at such a cheap price.
Not many.
So I will take that, no problem. I've had some shitty luck with team totals this year, but the Red Sox team total hit earlier for me. I feel like the momentums are shifting. We're moving the puzzle pieces around here. Yeah. All right, last game for us, Donnie. Game that I think is a playoff preview, honestly. I'm excited to watch this game. Seattle Mariners, Chicago White Sox. Robbie Ray, lefty versus the White Sox, man. This is what we see. This is, I think, one of the very first things of baseball capping that I've learned in the last, couple of years. The White Sox you cannot take a lefty against them. You just can't. There's just no way. You had a whole offseason to think about it, marinate it. They go against the lefty, they smash it. That's just what it is. So I wanted to devise a way to bet the White Sox, but not deal with Dallas Keuchel. I don't want Dallas Keuchel. I don't want my money anywhere near Dallas Keuchel. I think he's a little washed up. He's making his debut this year. And what I've learned in the past couple of days, if I want to bet Dallas Keuchel, it would be early because, all these older pitchers got juice in the tank. Shout out to Clayton Kershaw for dominating today. Yeah. So I'm taking the under strikeouts for Robbie Ray, under 6.5. I think the juiciest number I've taken at minus 130 this year. But I just think, I believe in this offense at home. There's some sketchy strikeout numbers from the guys looking at it now. They are a swing and miss squad, but I think that Robbie Ray gets touched up here, and I don't think that he's going to stick around long enough to get those strikeouts. And at 6.5, 7 strikeouts, I'll take my chances there. So I took the under here. And I'd love to hear what you think about it, Donnie.
I think it might make some sense there, too. And as we are looking in the chat box here, Chief says rainy weather in Chicago tonight. And he's right. Cooler, rainier conditions, which typically means if you have a Cy Young caliber pitcher that you're not going to say, hey, you know what? Why don't you go out there and throw a ton of pitches? And we're going to keep you out there to the 5th, 6th, or 7th inning in these conditions. Maybe you give us 65, 75 pitches and we call it a night. It's important that we say this because I like where you're going with this. Usually it's unders early in the season on pitchers, and you brought up a great point today. Clayton Kershaw, if he's stretched out, Jose, and it's late June, and he's got a perfect game going, he's going to finish that game out. But he told you straight up, this was an interesting offseason here. I'm not all the way stretched up. Credit me or hold it against me because I didn't do much offseason workout here with the lockout, and I just pitched like a simulated game, which I threw 60 pitches. There was no way I could throw over 80 pitches today, and that's the story for another day if they should have let him go or not, or if it was his choice or if it wasn't. But when you're looking at pitchers starting the season, it's very rare because if you need that extra juice, Jose, to get that K prop, typically during the regular season, you're going to get let go by your manager. Hey, I trust you, Robbie Ray. You're a veteran guy. You've won some things here in Major League Baseball. How you feel here in the 6th inning? Coach, I'm good. Skip, let me stay in the game. That's not going to be the case tonight. If it's cooler, rainier conditions, typically your pitcher is not loose. Where do you see the best baseball played, Jose, typically, right? May, June, July, and August. Why? It's not because these guys are ready for the season because they have 30 games in. It's because you show up to the ballpark at 75, 80 degrees, and you're loose already. It's hard to get loose in game in the rain where maybe you don't have your best stuff here. So I agree with you. Maybe taking unders on Robbie Ray's the ready to go. And also, even starting out this season, I think the White Sox only had maybe one game against a lefty. But as I like to say, everything is green already after some of these guys 3, 4, and 5 at bats versus lefties. So you have that double concept, right? Maybe bad conditions, rainy conditions. You don't want to abuse your starting pitcher here on the mound. And you have a team that, quite frankly, rakes left-handed pitching. Makes some sense for you there. I like it.
And Robbie Ray's numbers against these guys are excellent. You look at it, he's a 1.35 FIP just to start off there, a 40K percentage. But I still think that the lefty splits will prevail at the end of the day. And I think that if not, let's say they don't give up 4 runs, they don't give 4 runs. I still think that they'll swing and make contact on balls. I think there will be less swing and miss with a team at home. And an opener, or I think a good pitcher with Dallas Keuchel can keep them in the game, motivated to win one for the old guy kind of thing. So I like the White Sox today, -120 full game. I thinking about that too. A great bullpen, but the Mariners also do have that Seattle magic. They always end up winning these 1-run games somehow. So I will stay off the full game. I will try to roll the dice here with Robbie Ray. And see if I've learned something from some people like the Spin Doctor and all the people that bet K props and such. So we'll see. Donnie, this has been a great time. I only got you for a short show here today, but for sure want you on again. I think, like I said, you're a Pub Sports Radio original.
That's it.
That comes with a heavy burden. You were at Pub Sports Radio and we were shooting in the gym, so we appreciate you. And now we've created something nice and special here going. Let's hear from our sponsors real quick, and then we'll run down our best bets, or I guess remaining bets of the card, and any final thoughts for us. But first, like I said, we will hear from Manscaped and Southtown 101. Thank you to Southtown 101, Manscaped, for sponsoring the show. Promo code PubSports. Get it to your balls. Will thank you. All right, Donnie, let's go through these final picks.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to get to the window with any of these additions. I even wanted to take a look at my favorite bet in all of gambling, the no-run first inning in the Seattle Mariners White Sox game, but I just can't do it. I think I'm going to stay put here. So let's recap it. Like I said earlier today, we cashed on the Red Sox team total, first 5 over 2.5 plus 130. That felt nice. Money line as well. Mets first 5 money line. No run first inning, Houston, Arizona. So those were all great. And the only loser today, actually, the Dodgers and Minnesota over 8.5. Thank you to Clayton Kershaw. That was a fun performance to at least watch. And right now, left for the boys and everyone watching, and the women too. Shout out to the women watching this show. Robbie Ray, under 6.5 strikeouts at -130. And the Toronto Blue Jays, man. Those Blue Jays, who I think should win this division and should dominate this game, over 3.5 for their team total. Full game, -110. Donnie, anything over there for you?
Yeah, I'm going with the under today. We'll stick with it and have some fun here. Keep it lighthearted. Got to have some action for the night games. I'm going to go under in that Baltimore Brewers game at 8 at this point. I got to say, like, as the season moves forward and we start getting some of these tasty, as I like to say, team totals, it's going to be fun. And talk about this show where it's very rare you come on. It's like, hey, we only got like 3 or 4 games tonight because most of the games are in the afternoon. I love a deep night slate where all during the day you start capping these games. So it's like, you know what? I got a couple circled plays, as I like to say, ready to get after it. So tonight, just going to have a little bit of fun. And who knows? Yeah, Donnie Wright side's on an under tonight. So get that. So we'll enjoy cheering on no runs for once tonight in that game down in Baltimore. But, great to be on the show. You're having a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll be catching up quite a bit here over the summer in Major League Baseball and giving out some winners. That's what it's here for, right? Sharing information, having fun, talking some shop.
Yes, it's going to be a great time. Thank you as always, Donnie. I hope to see you again soon. I cannot wait. Thank you as always to the chat. Let's give everyone a final shout out before we leave. Elliot V, Ron Crawford, the D-Gen, Woodworker. Shout out to you guys. Chris Ferris. White Sox love yes run in the first inning. See, that's why we can't bet it, my man. We can't bet it. So let's stay off of it for sure. Ron Lofton, Ragoon 187, Eldorado Custodian, Chester Cat, everyone, Jimmy the Bag, Kenny and Cab. Go watch their show, by the way. Great show. Teflon Don, Mike M, Chief, everyone for joining us. Thank you guys as well. I appreciate it. Donnie, I will see you soon, my man. We'll be back here again tomorrow, 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central. Remember, guys, that say hey counter, it's at 7. We're going to go hit to 8 or go into double digits soon. It's going to be a great time. Donnie, thanks so much. We'll catch you guys out here next time.